So you want to know if you have an autism spectrum disorder like Asperger's syndrome. We're going to get into all that right now. So just to let you guys know that Asperger's syndrome is a term that was kind of outdated right now. It was replaced in 2013 in the DSM-5, which was the kind of model for diagnosing people. It was replaced with the term Autism Spectrum Disorder. So, now we've got that out of the way, let's get on to the video. Guys, I'm breaking down 5 of the main kind of traits and characteristics of somebody who displays Autism Spectrum Disorder traits, so that you can identify with them. So if you think, hey, this is me, then maybe I should go and get an assessment for an official diagnosis. All of that is going to be wrapped up right here, right now, with these 5 traits. Okay, so before we get into that, I just want to make sure that if you're new around here and you want to learn more about autism, my name is Dan, I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I'm making weekly videos just like this. So if you want to learn more, remember to hit that subscribe button down below, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok and Facebook, and you'll see daily videos from me. Alright guys, so first one I'm going to talk about is lack of eye contact. Now, autistic people generally have difficulties making eye contact. And the reason for this is because eye contact is very much a personal thing and a personal convention of social interaction, especially conversion of communication. So when you are conversing with somebody, you generally make eye contact with them. But for autistic people, this is a very difficult thing to kind of stay on top of. So an autistic person may make eye contact with you, but they'll quickly turn away and not look directly at the camera for a very long time. Or they may have a difficulty looking at you just straight on, directly in the face, having eye contact. This is very uncomfortable for autistic people. And if you're a person who has an issue with eye contact, then this could be a trait of autism if you can't tick the other ones. You know what I mean? Okay, so number 2 is social interaction difficulty. So people on the autism spectrum can struggle really with social conventions and social constructs that have been created around socializing. So there's kind of unwritten rules when you're socializing with somebody, like how far away to sit from a person, how to generally talk to a person, like what are the topics of conversation, what are filters. You can't talk about certain things that may be sensitive to another person, like if their grandmother just died, you're not going to say, hey, how was that? Like there's certain kind of rules or filters that we don't cross when we're talking to people in a social setting, and those rules are kind of generally thought about and kind of you kind of grew up learning those things. You think about them because you are around those things and you pick them up quite easily. That's for a typical person or a neurotypical person. But for an autistic person won't pick up those skills along the way of growing and socializing with different people, because an autistic brain is kind of focusing on other things like survival in a very inhospitable environment, socially and sensory wise. So if you have difficulties with socializing and making eye contact, this could be inherently an autistic trait for you. Okay, so number 3 is sensory processing disorder. Now, I'd say probably about 95% of people on the autism spectrum will also have a diagnosis of sensory processing disorder, or SPD. And what this means is that you may be, sensitive to certain light, certain textures, clothing, heat, smells, touch, tastes, wet and dry kind of textures. You might want to segregate your food on your plate. You might want to only wear certain types of clothing. You can't have clothing with labels on the back because the label feels like a cactus sticking in the back of your shirt. That could be something there. So this is typically something that will inherently be in autistic people, because sensory processing disorder is very, very common with autistic individuals, and I'd say it plays a massive role in the difficulties that an autistic person faces throughout the day, but also it's a really good criteria marker for people when they're trying to diagnose an autism spectrum disorder. SPD is something that they look at. So number 4 is repetitive behavior. Now, autistic individuals love to make repetitive behavior, like sitting in the same spot to eat your cereal every day, watching the same TV show every single day, putting on the same clothes every day. Doing the same things over and over and over again, like a routine, is really comfortable for autistic individuals and can really help them with feeling a lot more comfortable and secure in the situation that they're in, because a lot of situations are made for neurotypical people, not neurodiverse people, like people on the autism spectrum. So having a repetitive behavior is your way of kind of having some security and comfort within your own environment. Okay, so number 5 is pretty much my favorite one to talk about, and this is obsessive interest. Now, if you're an autistic person, you will have an obsessive interest about something. It could be Thomas the Tank Engine, or books, or Twilight, or like Tamagotchis. It could be absolutely anything, and you'll collect all this stuff. You'll research this thing constantly. It'll be the main thing that you constantly use when you're feeling like you want to do something like a recreational time. You'll you'll be researching this thing or obsessing over it or going to the conventions and learning everything about it. This is typical of an autism spectrum disorder, and someone who is on the autism spectrum, and its obsession can actually turn into a career like me. I love filming and then social media and stuff, and it's kind of like my job now, and I love that. But this is a telltale sign of someone on the autism spectrum. Now, if you have anything to add, drop it in a comment down below, and don't forget to pick up my free book at autismhacks.net down below. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Peace.